Okay guys, so block deadlifts. So partial range of motion version of the conventional or sumo deadlift. I would recommend for people to do this in the conventional stance, as the sumo deadlift already offers a shorter displacement. However, it is entirely up to you. The video will be going through the conventional deadlift position. So first off, the height of the block that you will select will depend on your weakest area. Now, if you're new to the deadlift motion, I would recommend starting with the block at around mid-thigh, if not slightly lower around knee height, and then gradually working your way down to the floor. However, as I said, if you're more advanced, you may want to select the box height based off your weakest point. The rationale being, if you're weak in a certain position, you should spend more time there. Now, the biggest change from your technique is the fact that it will be biasing more of the hip hinge movement and less of the squatting pattern that's involved within deadlift, so less of the pushing down and more of the driving the hips forward. As a result, people tend to come into the exercise with a little bit less abdominal bracing than they typically would do on a normal deadlift, and this can often involve a breakdown in technique and sometimes a greater involvement of the lower back. So we just need to make sure that we're mimicking the exact same movement pattern we normally would do on a deadlift, despite the partial range of motion. So, as you would normally do, positioning your feet hip to shoulder width apart with a slight degree of rotation of your feet and an upright athletic posture with your shoulders back, chest up, abs braced and glutes locking your pelvis in. You want to stand close to the bar so that the bar runs over the midline of your foot. So this is irrespective of the height of the blocks. From this position, sit your hips back, performing the hip hinge motion, imagining closing a set of drawers behind you and making sure that the abs stay tight. From here, slowly squat down until you reach the bar. Now, like I said, if the block is relatively high, this might be a couple of inches, but I would recommend going no higher than mid-thigh. From this position, keep your abs braced and drive your chest up. The aim is to mimic the position you would be in if you had lifted from the floor getting to that point. So for most of people, the correct way to do the deadlift would be to have your shoulders over the bar, if not slightly behind, but it does depend on you as an individual and individual limb length. From here, making sure that you're maintaining a neutral spine, push through the middle of your foot and focus on driving your chest up and your hips forward. Lock the weight out with a fully extended hips, knees and ankles, hold for 1 to 2 seconds and return to the start position.